You are about to enter a great adventure.
This is Strutting from Gorilla.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Strutting from Gorilla. I know it's been a little while since we were with you guys, but we are officially back. As always, I'm Mikey Cash, and with me is Big Vito. How's it going, man?
Mikey Cash, we're back. We're back in the saddle again here.
That's
ready
right.
to record a new episode. There's a lot going on. The king is dead, right?
The
Vince
king is
McMahon,
dead.
50 years in the business, gone, lots to talk about. Let's get it
I
rolling
know,
today.
I know. But before we get it rolling, let's just remind all these jabronis listening to us where you can find us on the socials. Facebook, it's at SFG Podcast. Twitter and TikTok at @from_gorilla. On Instagram at SFGorillaPod. And our website is struttingfromgorilla.com. As always, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, feel free to leave us a 5-star rating and review. We'd really appreciate it. Now, let's get into today's episode. So we're going to be, obviously, Big Vito, like you mentioned, we're going to be covering Vince retiring. We're also going to be talking about what that means for the future of WWE, what that means with Triple H, the King of Kings, taking over for the recently dead King. We're going to do a little SummerSlam review, some AEW notes, and, maybe talk about Mikey Cash's first Ring of Honor show just this past Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have been on the road, man. Lots of wrestling events this year. And in particular, I thought it was pretty interesting. And we didn't really talk about this, but you went to SmackDown.
That's right.
Then Ring of Honor.
That's right.
And technically, AEW Dynamite was in Worcester that Wednesday too, but
I know.
I
couldn't make that Wednesday show.
Wednesdays are tough, man. We're old.
You damn right we are.
Yeah,
I can't drive an hour to Worcester.
No,
and be there for what's likely going to be a 6-hour show.
No, but tell me about the shows. How were they?
So SmackDown was good. We got to take a friend of the podcast, Danny, with us in your place. He did really well. We're actually going to replace you now with him on any wrestling trips we take now. So I apologize, Vito, but
that's fair. My fat is worn out. I'm like a horse. Just take me out to the barn and put me out of my misery.
Old Yeller over here. But no, it was a pretty good show. It was there was a lot happening around it. It was when we arrived in Boston for the show, about 20 to 40 minutes before showtime. That's when the tweet goes out that Vince is going to retire. So there was a lot happening, and I think there was just a buzz when you were heading to the show because we didn't know what was going to happen. This was presumably the first show without Vince there. I don't know if that's true or not, but and then all the drama with Brock Lesnar leaving when he got all pissy because he heard that Vince wasn't going to be there that night.
Yeah.
So
I want to talk about that a little bit too. I think we have some things we can build off.
Oh, we definitely do.
But
we definitely
do. Okay, so it was a very entertaining SmackDown. I watched it from home, and I saw the tweet, and I was like, "Oh, Brock Lesnar's not going to be there. Like that sucks for all the fans. Like, what the hell?"
Right.
And then he showed up. It made it a little bit nicer for you guys because it's almost like a surprise.
Yeah, it was a surprise. I guess at some point throughout the night he showed back up and decided to come to work. So good for him. You know where I'm going to go with this already. Like, where my head stands.
Go ahead. Let's just talk about it right now.
I'm a big Sasha fan. I'm a big Naomi fan.
Yeah.
So I get that he came back. So I know that they weren't going to handle it exactly the same. But I can almost guarantee you that if he didn't, we would not have heard anything near the level of slander that was thrown at Sasha and Naomi for walking out. Or the slander that was thrown at CM Punk. And I know everybody saw the video on Twitter where Punk kind of addressed this. And you actually made a good point. I want you to kind of mention that because there's kind of an exception to this rule.
I mean, listen, I don't disagree with how they treated Naomi and Sasha, but here's the deal, right? I go back and I look, and what about when Austin walked out? Like, they ripped him to shreds for a long time. I mean, there was a long period where they were not on good terms, and even when he walked out there, like he took his ball and went home. Like kayfabe went right out the window
Yeah.
there. And so, I mean, yeah, maybe they don't handle everything the right way, but I also want to make this point about Sasha because I like Sasha Banks. I think she's a great wrestler. She does a fantastic job, but this is just like rumors. Every time I hear something
Mhm.
on the web, she seems like she's really difficult to deal with to some degree. I don't know if it's, again, this is just completely my opinion. I have no
No,
basis
no, that's fine.
behind any of this, but it just seems like, she has like taken a back seat a little bit, but you can see little flares where almost like, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. And I think there's probably more to it than we really know. And they were probably just fed up with the situation. And if they're going to walk out, they're going to say fine.
No.
I do understand the difference here, right? You have women wrestlers and you have Brock Lesnar, but here's the other part of this, right? I think the $1 million man said it best. Everybody's got a price. And Brock Lesnar draws money, man. He draws money. You can love the guy, hate the guy. And my feelings on Brock Lesnar.
I
Like
know.
I love him. I'll watch him. I definitely think he puts my eyeballs on the TV. But overall, I'm just sick of the same old with him. But I think he has a little bit more leverage when it comes to that. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of people in the wrestling world that draw like he does anymore. Like the Rocks, the Austins.
Mhm.
He's to that level. Maybe like a Rock Austin, B 1A and 1B. And Roman Reigns really isn't even there yet either. But he just has that ability, so I think he's got a little bit more leverage. But who knows what really happened? I'm glad he came back. I'm glad it didn't happen the way it did.
Me too.
But I know you kind of feel differently, so let me hear your side.
So I on the point that you made about Sasha being difficult to work with, I think even if that's true, let's say that rumor is actually true, how does that make her any different than somebody like Brock Lesnar who throws tantrums? And we have records of it, that he walks back in and he's chucking titles all over the fucking place in the office and like ruining shit. I
It's
mean,
because
how does that?
he draws money. I don't
But,
think Sasha
but
draws money.
so I actually don't agree with that. If she didn't draw money, they wouldn't have put her in the main event at WrestleMania. They wouldn't have done it. They absolutely would not have done that. And also, what do you mean she doesn't draw money? I mean, I don't see Brock Lesnar showing up on The Mandalorian. Do you? Oh wait, that's Sasha Banks.
I would love to see Brock Lesnar show up.
I mean,
on
I
The
think he would be
Mandalorian.
great. I mean, can you imagine if he showed up on the man? That would be great. You're right. But I just think I think we're not giving Sasha the credit that she deserves for her sort of like cross appeal in terms of entertainment. And I think there's a certain culture there in WWE. And I know Punk mentioned this too, and I personally agree with that. And I think that's what creates this divide and this kind of double standard of it's acceptable for one person to do it, but not the other person. So like somehow it's unprofessional that Sasha's difficult to work with, but nobody bats a fucking eye when Charlotte's throwing tantrums backstage either. So it's interesting that she's the only example of, she's kind of difficult to work with because she has like original thought, because she pushes back against the shitty creative that you and I both know has been there forever.
I wonder if it's maybe how she approaches it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, I could be wrong.
Right,
You
and
might
these
be
are all
right.
based on rumors. So I get that.
All based on that.
This is all just for the sake of argument.
Yeah.
So I think, and we both know how much I love arguing. So this is great.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what would have happened if Lesnar didn't come back. Like, I guess that we won't know that.
We'll never know.
But I don't know. I'm glad he came back, and I understand your point, and I don't disagree with it. But I think over the course of the years, this is such a strange business when it comes to stuff like that, because it's live entertainment. Like, it's not like baseball or football where you walk out on your team, you violate your contract type of deal. I assume it would be the same with WWE, but I don't know. It's totally different realm, you know.
I guess the way I would almost put it is this: bigger than Lesnar, bigger than Sasha and Naomi and the whole situation. I think a lot of times what this is sort of coming down to is, how long do you work in an environment where you feel like your boss is inept?
Yes,
And I think that's really what it is.
could be.
And I think for Sasha and Naomi, it was just like, how much longer do I work with this fucking guy? And he just doesn't get it.
Yeah, but
He's
I
out of
mean,
touch. And at some point, you do have to throw up your hands. I don't blame her. How long can you possibly hold that up for? You know, it's easy for Brock to kind of come and go as he pleases because he's sort of developed that over the last 20 or so years.
yeah,
Sasha and Naomi didn't have that luxury. They're there every night.
yeah. No, you're right, and you bridge the gap right into what we were talking about
Right.
with Vince
It
McMahon here.
comes back to Vince.
And you know what? He's gone now. Essentially, they say he's gone. You know,
Right.
if you ask Eric
We'll
Bischoff,
We'll see.
if you ask Eric Bischoff, he said, or no, Vince Russo, he says, if you believe Vince is gone, then you're stupid, basically. But
I got a bridge to sell you, bro.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, bro, bro. If you really think he's gone, bro, I got a bridge to sell you, bro. Come on, bro. No, but really, here's the thing. Vince is an enigma to me because I have so much respect for the guy, but I also have very little respect for the guy. Like, he has done so much for the wrestling industry and changed it drastically. You could say for the good, you could say for the bad, but regardless, he's changed it. But he does have that big dick mentality, he's invincible. Well, right, that's the pun.
That's
there,
pretty much
right?
exactly what
That's the
what
pun.
led to
But
the news we're talking about today.
But it's one of those things. It's like, you see guys like him all the time where they're they have their power and they just feel like they're invincible. And for a long time, Vince has been invincible. Another pun.
Right.
But, and I think the worst thing for him was when he won that steroid trial, because that's what probably got him to the level of that, nothing can hurt me type of thing. And,
Well, you're talking about a guy who felt basically infallible after that.
right.
And really since then, not much has touched him.
Nope.
So that was the best shot they had. They missed.
He won everything, Mike.
He won everything.
Like the right to censor. I mean, I call him right to censor, but like all the censorship people back in the day.
Yeah.
He basically told them to go fuck themselves and kept doing what he wanted to do. No one could touch him. He could do whatever he wanted.
It's true. It made, and listen, part of it did make for good TV.
It did.
We all remember the DX skit where they're reading basically the credence that they got from subcontract, whatever they got from USA, and it was the whole warning, you can't say this, and this, and they just go on and just make fun of them, and then the network loved it. So again, that was just one little example of Vince just kind of doing whatever he wanted, but I think it obviously caught up with him. I don't know exactly what it was that led to this investigation just kind of happening, but I'm continuously find it interesting that it was an internal investigation.
Yeah.
Somebody was bringing this up at the board, whether it was Nick Khan, who the fuck knows? Maybe it was Shane. We don't know. Yeah, Shane and him aren't on good terms. I mean, now, and I think
maybe it was Sasha leaving.
Dude, it wouldn't surprise me. And on that point of it, when I heard this news, it didn't surprise me. No. And I think that's and I feel like a lot of people probably felt that way, and we have to really think about that. Why does it not surprise us that this news came out? That it was him.
Yeah, no, and I think you're right. The thing about Vince McMahon is he has a huge ego, right? When you start the way that you start, and then you start acquiring companies, and you grow to where you were, and you're at the bottom of the barrel, you're fighting up, and you're finally reached that pinnacle. The thing about him is his wrestling mind is one of a kind, right? They don't make them like Vince. He can promote anything and do a really great job. And if you ask any of the wrestlers, I think Jericho had an interview recently where he talked about Y2J when he was coming in, and Jericho brought the idea to Y2J and said that brought the idea to Vince and said that he wanted his finisher to be called Y2J. And Vince said, no. This is what you're doing. You're going to be Y2J. And he goes, okay. And he thought, that whole countdown thing, he was going to come out at the end right? Like at the end of Raw, and
Yeah.
Vince said, "No, no, no, no. You're gonna come out in the middle of the Rock segment." And it's like just little things that he does that push things over the top
Yeah.
that I would love to give him credit for, you know, and he has built an empire on it. But with that empire comes the ego. And I relate this to kind of like Julius Caesar, right?
Mm.
Like the guy thought he was the best ever, the empire would never fall, but he had an ego,
Yeah, he
and
did.
it was his downfall. And Vince has skirted by his ego many, many times, but the time has come. I think it's fitting that he goes out this way, because you look at wrestlers and you look at guys like Vince and you would think, hey, this guy needs a good farewell. He's an icon in the business.
Absolutely. It
But
would have been like a dick sucking tour just
right,
the whole time.
this was, probably the best way for him to go. And I'm excited, Mikey, about the new direction.
Me too. I am too. And I know I don't want to spend so much time on this, but this is big in pro wrestling.
No, yeah, it's
It's
really
huge
big.
news.
It's all we know.
And there's so much. There's so many thoughts that I almost feel like it's bigger than even this episode. But when it comes to even like what his legacy is now going to be in terms of his contributions to the world of pro wrestling, as well as the very real consequences of some of the shit that he did.
Yeah.
And I think back to somebody else. I recently, I think just this past year, my wife and I went to, is called the Heritage Museum. It's down in like Sandwich in Massachusetts. And if you go there, there's this garage with all these old cars, all like Ford Model Ts and stuff like that. And they have this plaque about Henry Ford and how what the things that he did revolutionized the automotive industry and basically jump started it. However, they have this in the plaque itself. It mentions a complicated legacy because it says, despite that, they mention all of his innovations in automotive. However, they also mention the fact that he was a bigot, he was a racist, he was an anti-Semite, he broke labor laws, he voted against them. It was like he was kind of a piece of shit.
Right.
But he also had these incredible contributions that did better the lives of people, and we all, kind of feel the ripple effects today. I think about that when I think of Vince McMahon now, because it's complicated.
Yeah. That's a great example.
I think that's the best way I can put it.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of I mean, maybe I'm thinking about it too much, but I've watched wrestling my whole life, and it's meant a lot to me, and it's helped me through many stages and many different events throughout my life. And I feel like I still need to kind of sit with it. And like, where does, what's my sort of role in all this as a fan? Are we complicit in all this when he was coming out during all these allegations and the crowd's like fucking bowing to him like fucking idiots? Like what's going on there? So I just want to throw this out there to people that I know we're our own podcast and we love that you're listening to us, but if you can also give Tim Cale's Work of Wrestling podcast a listen, because he does an episode recently where he talks about holding Vince McMahon accountable and kind of what that looks like on an individual basis. And I think people should listen to that and also read the article that he kind of wrote right before the episode. So just to give a shout out to Tim, he does really incredible work about insights into wrestling and really dives deep. So people should give it a listen.
Yeah. Great call out, Mikey. The thing I'll say about the legacy though is unfortunately, something like this, the way that it's going down and turning out now, I don't think it's going to affect his legacy. Here's why. I always think about Pete Rose, right? Like Pete Rose, probably the best pure hitter in baseball of all time.
Mm-hmm.
What do people think about when they think of Pete Rose? Gambling.
The fucking gambling. Yeah.
That's all they think about.
Right.
But that's because he was banished from baseball. So there was a punishment with it that overshadows what he did.
Everything.
So he can never get into the Hall of Fame. But Vince McMahon, these allegations, if it stays quiet like this for the rest of eternity because he sailed off into the sunset, 30 years from now, what are people going to think about? They're not going to think about this. They're literally going to just think about how Vince McMahon transformed the industry, right? Mm-hmm. So unless there's some sort of like heavy punishment or revealing of what went on, I don't think any of this is going to matter in his legacy. for us it will, because we understand it. But
Right.
years down the road, it'll be the Henry Ford effect, where you think about just the good stuff that he did and you didn't think about the other stuff. So
But that's why it's going to be important for us
yeah,
knowing this to share that kind of thing, because people need to see
yeah,
the full picture. And
they do.
it's not trying to take away from what the guy did, but you also need to see the full person, because
Agreed.
people are going to end up with this kind of idealized view of him. And you already see it on Twitter. It's already happening, even with the news currently out. People
Yeah.
will kind of defend it and whatnot, but I just imagine what's going to happen when the guy dies, because I can the amount of ass kissing that's going to happen when that unfortunately goes down, it's going to be
Yeah.
hard to watch.
I think the other part of it too is that he's very well respected within the wrestling community by the majority of people. I'm going to tell you there are people that don't like him, right?
Mhm.
But even the people that fight with him always end up coming back. They always, you know, find a way to respect Vince McMahon.
Sure.
So I think if he was more of an asshole in general, like just where people didn't like him, it would make it easier for people to give him the outs. But I think people just respected him for what he's done, and they he's worked with so many people over 50 years. Think about that, you
Right.
know?
And I know he's burned a lot of bridges with some folks, but yeah, I get that. There is going to be a level of respect when it comes to him, and
Yeah.
there's got to be accountability to
Yep.
like the
Nope.
shit that he did.
I agree.
And that's the complicated legacy portion
You're
of it.
right.
That's all I'm saying, is that
You're
there
right.
needs to be acknowledgement of both.
I agree. I agree. So let's talk about the future, though. Like, okay, so Vince is out. I feel like
Vince
here
is,
it's strutting from Gorilla, right? I
well,
think
dude, what do we do with our name now? He's
this
gone.
is what I'm saying. It's got to stay strutting from Gorilla. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
going to
it is
cost a
what it
lot
is.
more to change all the marketing and all that shit.
Yeah,
But
all the
we're
too
keeping-
much invested. Especially with the Leader of Men putting up a great website for us. If you haven't hopped on
Shout
our
out Bobby
website,
Stone.
check it out. Check it out. But no, let's talk about the future a little bit though, because we've been talking about this for God, it feels like ever.
Yeah.
How where like Vince needs to go. The guy's he's like is he senile? Like, does he have dementia?
Well, I
Like
think he did. I think something was going on.
I think so in the past he would throw shit against a wall and he would hit more often than not, right? I
Yeah.
just think the stuff he's doing nowadays over the last 10 years or so, call it, less is stuck than for us. I'm not saying as a whole. Obviously, if you look at the big picture,
Mhm.
their financials are fantastic as a company, but like from the actual value of the entertainment and a fan side, which is what
Right.
we talk about, we are a podcast of the fans.
Correct.
We've hated it. Like we've
Yeah, we have.
just been
We've
done
largely
nothing but
disliked it.
complain.
We've
Yeah,
largely disliked it. And even coming from me, and I try to be positive about it.
we all do. And I know I feel like I'm the most negative, and it's true, but like I'm a positive person in reality. So it
That is
like it
true. It's very
like
it's like out of character for you.
yeah. So I'm excited to see what happens here. And quite honestly, you know, I don't think they could have picked someone better. I'm glad Triple H is getting
Yeah.
a chance to do this
It was
without
Were
like
you
taking the
surprised by the
reins
pick?
off him.
Were you
What's that?
surprised by the pick that it was Triple H? Because for me, for some reason, I had always you heard all the news that like years ago, it felt like Triple H was being groomed to take over, and
Yeah.
then that quickly got like the kibosh on it. Like there's somebody that suddenly that wasn't going to be the direction it was going to go.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was surprised that Triple H was given this role. But
Yeah.
maybe it's just because Stephanie took over and she's like, here you go. You know,
I mean, again, I don't know the inside workings, but if you're
No.
asking me like what happened, I would tell you that, you know, now that they're a publicly traded company, they have people on the board of directors, and a
Mhm.
lot of that includes executives from the TV stations.
Yeah.
And they don't know the wrestling industry like a wrestler does. So my assumption is that they probably don't like the way Triple H runs some of the stuff as far as wrestling goes. You know, as far as the wrestling aspect and entertainment and TV values, that would be my guess, right?
Mhm.
From a fan's perspective who likes wrestling, well, you need a guy who knows wrestling. Vince was kind of in between. Like he knew how to promote, he knew how to do all of that from a
Yeah.
creative standpoint, but from the wrestling standpoint, he knew that too. He may not have been a wrestler, but you could argue he kind of was at one point. So he knew enough about all of it that it made sense. And I think Triple H is going to be a refreshing person to
Mhm.
having creative, because it seems like he listens a little bit more and is willing to try some of that. And he's been on the other side of Vince, and he
Yeah.
knows, I'm curious to see how it pans out, because Vince had that knack, like I said, in a Y2J type of situation
Mhm.
where he could do some things and like it became gold. Is Triple H going to be able to do that?
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. I
Or
mean,
or is it going to be more of a creative by committee kind of deal where I listening to his interviews earlier this weekend, he was saying that he wants input from everybody. He's like, this
yeah,
has to be inclusive, and this includes talent. And that line got me, because that means hopefully there will be more input from the wrestlers themselves about what direction storylines go.
yeah.
And
No, I agree.
that's my hope. And maybe the difference now, Triple H in this kind of role, plus the support of Stephanie, who I don't see as a barrier to him executing some of the things he would want to do, which I would
Yeah.
have been able to say if Vince was still in charge.
No, you're 100%
So
right.
I think we could see some things, and once we get into SummerSlam, you'll already have seen some things. I mean, it quite honestly, it kind of started on Raw, even this
Yeah.
week. Like Raw started in the middle of a fight. The show just starts, and Miz and Logan Paul are brawling. Like, however
Love
you
that.
feel about Logan Paul, like that felt cool. You were like,
Yeah.
they're not, they're just there's something's happening already. Something's been
Yeah.
going on since before the show even started. I really liked that.
Yeah, that's the great little touch, right? That you don't think about. They used to do that all the time back in the day. You'd start up Raw or WCW, especially. How many times you start WCW and the NWO is beating somebody down?
Yeah, they're
Like,
already just in the ring, or they're in a
yeah,
parking lot tossing
yeah,
Rey Mysterio into a trailer. Just yeah. So
yeah,
I think it's going to be. I want to wait and see. Right now, some of the things that I'm seeing are positive signs, and we'll talk more about it. But I'm curious, where is this going to be in a year? So leading up to next year's SummerSlam, what are we going to be talking about when it comes to the quality of the wrestling, the quality of the storytelling?
yeah.
What talent may jump ship from AEW coming to WWE? You don't know.
No,
Vince,
they
as
could,
great as Vince is, I do think he also presented a big barrier for some folks wanting to come over.
yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. It's like the LeBron effect, right? Where you get LeBron James and it's like, oh, all of a sudden some people want to come because
Dude,
they can hop on his team, and
dude, look at the team. Look at if you get the chance, you should look at some of the posts that people were posting of the WWE tryout this weekend.
yeah.
Dwight Howard was there.
I saw that.
He actually sounded pretty good. But
Yeah, I saw that. What did
look
he
who
call
was
himself? I forget.
I totally forgot, but
It was something
it was
ridiculous,
kind
but
of
it was
good.
really
It was
funny.
kind of good.
Yeah.
But Paul Heyman is on the team as their scouting talent, and he gave a really great speech about "Sell me your name,"
I saw that.
and it was really wonderful. And Triple H gave a lot of praise to Heyman when he was talking about having him on the team. He was like, "This is one of the guys who's best on the mic I've ever seen." So why would you not want to have that guy come on? Like,
Yeah.
and Heyman's got a great wrestling mind.
No,
And
of
so,
course
and
he
he's
does.
got, interestingly enough, who would have thought all these years later that Heyman has the backing of Triple H and Stephanie? That I never would have put that on my wrestling bingo card, but I guess that's never say never in pro wrestling. But
You're 100% right.
yeah,
I think I said this in our text too, that now that Vince is gone, I think Stephanie is a big proponent of Paul Heyman, and
yeah,
I think Vince kind of wasn't. I don't think he disliked the guy or anything. I just don't think he gave him as much time as Stephanie would, and
no,
I'm excited to see where that goes, because
right.
he does
Me
have a
too.
brilliant wrestling mind.
Well, should we jump into SummerSlam? Is there anything else we want to
No, let's go
talk
right into
about here?
SummerSlam, because I mean we're talking about Triple H, and
Right.
I look, to the fans out there, I haven't had a chance to watch all of SummerSlam. I was out at a concert last night, but I'm gonna let Mikey talk about it. But you brought up a point um, about Michael Cole
Yeah.
during the broadcast.
All right, so I'll start there. Basically, this is the first post Vince pay per view, and I think from the get go, you could see Triple H's fingerprints already, and it's not like a complete 180 change in presentation and all of that. I think a lot of these changes we're going to see are going to be kind of subtle, like what we're seeing here. So, in terms of commentary, I think Michael Cole has finally they've taken the reins off of Cole. And I think for the longest time, one of the biggest complaints is he doesn't have any personality. He's just kind of the straight guy. He doesn't really like give anything to the
Vintage
broadcast.
Triple H.
Yeah, right. And I think we all kind of knew that a lot of that was who was in his ear, kind of telling him what direction he needed to go in. And it seemed like not a lot of people were in his ear because he was very different. He's markedly different. He was way more emotional during matches. He would they even bleeped him out one time because he said "God damn." So I think they really are just letting the reins come off of this guy. Another piece of it is they're name dropping wrestlers that aren't with the company anymore. There was a moment where Christian's name was brought up, Matt Hardy's name was brought up, and I know that might not seem that important, but I think in terms of WWE commentary and the bubble of WWE, that nothing that happens outside of it ever actually happened. Like a cult, like nothing had. So it was really good to see them just acknowledge them, that these people exist, and the WWE ratings didn't tank because you mentioned somebody's name that doesn't work there anymore.
Yeah.
So like, it also doesn't insult the fans' intelligence. We know when they're talking about a TLC match, which they mentioned last night, they mentioned the people that were in the match, not just like Devon Dudley and Edge, the only guys that are working for WWE right now, So I thought that was kind of cool. They made some lines that I think were kind of throwing shade at Vince. There was some exchange with Corey Graves and Michael Cole about, I thought you were told not to have any personality. And he was like, well, a lot has changed since that time. So
love that.
They're definitely acknowledging a lot of things. But that's just sort of commentary. When I'm talking about matches, I think look no further than the very first match to open the show was Becky versus Bianca. The package for it, great. I love Becky. I really enjoy that kind of the new character she's had. This sort of like it's like a little unhinged, but it's because she like can't handle losing and she just keeps losing. So this build up to the match with Bianca was good. There's some history. Bianca's motivated to make up for the defeat she had last year at SummerSlam and kind of that squash. And we were all sort of talking about it then last year too.
Oh yeah.
And it kind of sucked, but this match was great. They
had great ring gear too. I loved her
ring gear. Yeah. Whoever's making Becky's is really killing it right now. And I just feel like Becky and Bianca could have like a years long rivalry. They could be people that sort of just come and go. Like they'll go off and do their own things. They'll even be a sort of partnered up here and there, but you could just put them in a ring together and they have such great chemistry that it's just captivating. So anyway, Bianca walks away with the title. They have sort of a handshake moment, sign of respect. I thought that was really nice. And it was sort of like a bookend to the match they had last year, where it kind of started with a handshake and then Becky kind of pulled that move and won the match. So then we get the surprise Bayley return. Bayley comes out.
Saw that.
And then to the biggest fucking shocker, Dakota Kai comes out. She was just released a few months ago. And then Io Shirai, who's now going by Io Sky. But holy shit. Like that felt like, oh, Triple H just rang up both of them and was like, listen, you need to come back. Because Io Shirai was about to let her contract expire. A lot of the rumors going around, she didn't want to go to the main roster. So, but she felt like she was kind of done in NXT. So she was just going to go back to Japan. And thank God, Papa H making the calls. I know that's kind of what I refer to him now, because he's like a teddy bear. Yeah. But I thought that was awesome. So now they're going to be a stable, the three of them together.
Good.
And they got into the ring, and we're going to face Bianca alone. And then Becky gets in there, dude. And it's wild. So they're just looking at each other and they're looking at him. And so it's 3-on-2. And in my head, I'm like, no way. I think in my head, I was like, if Sasha Banks music hits right now, I'm going to lose my shit. But that didn't happen. It didn't happen. Maybe they're saving it. Maybe it's never going to happen. It'll probably just be somebody else. But I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, really cool. Great match opener.
Great. Yeah. Like the crowd was super into it. So
yeah,
I'm really excited to see where that goes.
I'll tell you, the match that I saw bits and pieces of was the Usos and the Street Profits, right? And I think this is going to be the end of the Street Profits, but I think that's going to be a good thing, because God, and I'm blanking on his name.
Montez Ford. I knew
Yeah,
what you were gonna say because that dude has got bulky.
yeah, and I also think even before The Rock praised him and all these people have been
Yeah.
praising him, he has that little bit of an it factor when
Mhm.
you listen to him talk, right? And he can wrestle. Not the biggest guy in the world, but he can wrestle, man.
Mhm.
And I'm really really
Yeah.
digging, him being a singles
I'm feeling it
wrestler.
too. He sells really well.
Oh yeah,
He's really good. And
yeah,
I wouldn't be shocked if like tomorrow night the Street Profits break up.
yeah,
I could see it kind of happening
yeah.
and getting the ball rolling on a singles move for him.
He's gonna bring the smoke.
Dude, they're great. I kind
They
of
are.
like the Street Profits anyway.
Yeah,
But
but I think their time is up, man, and they can always come. I like when they people have a good run, they break up, and then they come back together. Like it adds a bit of excitement to the piece.
yeah.
Like the Hardys, they singles come back as a team, and it meant something.
Hmm.
So I think you'll see something like that. I just hope he doesn't get the like push to the moon, right? Like if you look at some of these guys that have come up, even the John Cena's, like the, the Rock when he first started, like give him the gentle push, like let him, organically
Well,
get over with the crowd.
but wouldn't you say he's already kind of doing that because of the time
Yeah,
he's had with the
I
tag?
just
And
I
I
what
just
I don't
look
want to happen
familiar.
is yeah, what I don't want to happen is Rock come out and Roman Reigns be there, and all of a sudden Montez Ford's music hits, right? Like
Mm,
that doesn't make any sense to me. That wouldn't
I
make
got you.
any sense. I would want to see him go after like the Intercontinental Championship or US Championship, make some good rivalries there, build a feud there,
Yeah,
like
maybe.
and then go, like
Yeah.
like you're supposed to do. I just getting that like Austin Theory push just drives me bananas because it's like you don't know who this guy is. He's got
Yeah.
potential, but then you're like forced again. It's the forcing of me. I think
Well,
there's potential there.
they've to address your concern about theory, they have
Oh yeah,
thoroughly addressed that.
yeah. I think they
they have
did.
they have
I
thoroughly
think they
put
did.
some squash on that because
I think they
uh,
did.
I think it was basically starting even Friday. He gets his ass whooped but at the end of SmackDown from Brock Lesnar, just fucking destroys him. And then Monday he gets his ass kicked by Roman Reigns and the Usos. And then from Sheamus and then from Drew McIntyre. He was basically feuding with everybody on Monday night. The
Yeah,
first hour of Raw was majority of Austin Theory getting his ass kicked, so it was
yeah.
kind of good. But
Good,
uh,
good.
we'll get to him later. But
Okay.
Miz and Logan Paul, did you see anything about that, Vito?
No, no.
Okay, I would say watch the match. I think they did really well together. I I I feel bad for how hard I've been on the Miz because I don't think he's a great wrestler.
No, he's
But
not. He's
and I
not.
know but the guy works his ass off.
He does.
So I can't fault that.
No.
And I think Logan Paul, as much as I think he's a fucking dink, I think he has kind of gifted in the ring. I think he's
Yeah.
actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to say that because I want to just insult the man, but I can't do that.
Mike, you got to give second chances.
No, you're
Gotta
right.
give a second chance. And
There's
I'm
a lot of things
mostly
about him that
tainted.
make it hard for me to want to give him a second chance.
Well, I'm mostly tainted on him because of his brother, and like I understand the situation he had and whatever. He apologized, and I'm gonna give him a pass and see what he does. Mostly just because of his brother. He's a douche, and I like hate all of that.
Mhm.
But the more I listened to you hate the guy, it made me really not like him either. On top of all that, and I think we need to give him a chance.
All right,
Like let's give him an
we'll see.
open
We'll see.
strutting from
Listen,
Gorilla open chance. We'll give it to him.
Vito, what I just say, all right? I just said that he was he did well. He did well in the match. Okay, he did a fucking frog splash from the turnbuckle through the table. I thought it was good. It was a good match.
Fair. All right. Glad we're on the
All
same
right,
page.
all right.
I'm glad I put you in your fucking place, Mikey.
I
Let's
know.
move on.
I know. So, all right. I actually want to. I have a quick note about. I think I was talking about it with my wife last night, and she wasn't really feeling this point, but so I'm gonna throw it out there to you.
Okay.
And it's about like continuity of like what happens to the arena throughout the show.
Yep.
And specifically the announce table.
Okay.
because it was as if nothing happened after that match. So Logan Paul does a frog splash, goes through that table. The very next match, announce table's right back up. Nothing happened. It was like in a video game, like when you do like a lot of damage to something and you walk out of the room and then like it reloads when you walk back in. It's like, oh, everything's just fine. And I don't, for some reason, that just bothers me. Like there should be continuity there. Like the damage that's done from the beginning to the end of the show should carry through, and the wrestlers should be given some, I guess, some opportunities to maybe improvise and respond to that atmosphere.
I agree with you 110%.
That's just
I couldn't
my view on
agree
it.
more. I couldn't agree more with you on a point in all the podcast episodes we've done than this point right here. You know, if JR and the King had to get Mick Foley's sweaty ass on their table during that Hell in the Cell, and then they had to go throughout the whole show
Without a table.
Without a table.
Or,
you know,
like, or if they put like one of the like the actual tables, like if they ended up like replacing it, then I can like understand that. Like, okay, so there was damage done and now they had to replace the table with something else. Okay. That means you're acknowledging that something happened just like 10 minutes ago.
Right.
And
Then, the people who should be the most mad about this, Mikey, are the Spanish announce team, because those guys have had their tables broken for years, and all of a sudden these new commentators get new tables. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit.
Right. So I mean, that's just a quick note. Anyway, moving on. So I think the next match was the Mysterios versus Judgment Day, and I mean, it kind of was what it was. It was fine. Edge comes back. That also was like fine to me. I guess I didn't have a big reaction to it because we all knew, like you had mentioned this before. Do you want to bring this up about the video?
I just think it was a waste of our time. If you want my honest opinion, I get excited about that stuff. I'm a mark. Like I get really excited for that stuff. And I'm like reading into it. I'm like, oh yeah, you got Mysterio's mask, you got Eddie Guerrero's license plate. Who's it gonna be? And everyone's like, oh, it's Edge, it's Edge. And I'm in my head, I'm like, there's no way it's Edge. Like I'm gonna say it's Edge because it's gotta be Edge. But like if it's Edge, like they have completed the circle of stupidity for me. Like correct. I feel like if you're just gonna, who's the mystery guy? If you're gonna do that and it actually be Edge, just fucking say it's Edge. Like make a video montage of Edge like coming back. Don't just say it's a mystery guy. Who gives a shit? It's only been a month. Guy's been gone for a month.
I know. And
so
there was never a mystery. It was the worst kept secret, right? And
yeah.
No,
you know what's funny though? He's got the same
bad, but
he's got the same haircut as Rhea Ripley. Same haircut. Yeah.
You think so?
It's pretty close.
It looks
a little bit of a whiffle.
He redid it, so it looks a little different now.
Oh, all right. I thought it came back with a little bit of a whiffle. Okay, all right.
No, it doesn't have like the poof. I think what you're talking. I get what you're.
Oh, it's the poof.
Yeah.
I didn't have the poof. Okay, I only saw a quick shot, but fair enough. But that's my annoyance with that. And the thing about the Judgment Day, I love Finn Balor.
Me too.
He's going down La La Land here, and I hate it. But they need to bring back Demon Finn Balor.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Baylor or Balor?
Balor.
It's Balor.
Not
I always want to say Baylor, but it's Balor. And I like him a lot, and I just think he's, I'm curious to see where that whole thing goes.
He had an interview recently, and he was talking about the Demon character and wanting to have more creative control over that.
Yeah,
and
should.
I don't remember if this was before or after Vince retired, but now it's going to be like, post Vince era here. What does that look like? So maybe we'll see a little bit more of that. The way he talked about Judgment Day sounded like it was going to wrap up soon.
Yeah, I hope so.
So maybe that means like another turn or something, or they just kind of put the goodbye. Like sometimes you might just need to rip the Band-Aid off and let's just split this up and we kind of recalibrate here, which is fine.
I'm not a big Damian Priest fan either. Like I don't not like the guy. I don't like him. I'm just kind of like, meh.
I struggle with him. I don't really understand his character.
I like his wrestling style. It's unique and different, but like I just something about him that just seems like I don't get excited to see him.
Right. He's the Archer of Infamy, but what the fuck is that? Like, so is Green Arrow. So what am I going to read a comic book instead of watching?
So how was the match though?
The match was fine. I think you can always trust Balor in a match. He's a veteran. Obviously, Mysterio's a veteran too, so it's cool to see those two guys go at it. To watch Dominic coming along as the performer that he is nice.
Yeah,
I was really hoping for that heel turn,
but
alas, that didn't happen. I was hearing some scuttlebutt on the Twitter machine and even on Facebook. People were complaining about the Mysterio's ring gear color. That it was why are they coming out in Hulk Hogan colors? But I feel like people forget SummerSlam's colors are red and yellow.
Yeah, they are.
Like, or red and orange-ish. Like, relax. That's my quick note on it. Like, chill out.
It reminds me of like
don't read into everything. They were just coming out in the SummerSlam colors.
It reminds me of the Slim Jims. Like that's always I think of.
Yeah, exactly. Like
SummerSlam,
that.
Slim Jim. Yeah.
But I in my head, my ideal Dominic heel turn would be him coming out in so I don't know, so did you watch Raw and see the Rey Mysterio anniversary thing?
Yeah, I did see some of it. Yeah.
So did you see when they gave him I think it was Dominic that gave him this, and it was the Halloween Havoc like costume that he wore.
Yes, I did.
Eddie Guerrero. And Rey Mysterio was like, "Oh, I didn't even know where this was." Like, thought he lost it, and Dominic had it. So I was like, "Oh, maybe Dominic will wear that and turn on him because it's purple and Judgment Day, and they've been trying to like fuck with Dominic and stuff." I thought maybe there'd be something there where he'd wear that, and
that would have been cool.
But that didn't happen. None of that happened.
I mean, Ray's got to go out against his son. Like that's got to be.
That would be a cool retirement.
There's not many people that get to be able to do that. Dominic's got to get a little bit better. Like they pushed him along, I think, far too early. But I mean, he's got the guidance of Ray, so I'm fine with that. But it's coming. Like it's coming along. Like he's growing into it for sure.
They're not. He's one of the cases. I don't feel like they're shoving him down our throats, but you kind of like him anyway. You're like, oh, I kind of like Dominic because that's just it's a Mysterio thing too. I think people just love Rey Mysterio, like kind of no matter what. Yeah. So he's almost he reminds me of like Ricky Steamboat. Ricky Steamboat was forever a good guy, and people just loved him. And they're like, that was it. Like, it's Ricky Steamboat. You love Ricky Steamboat. It's Rey Mysterio. You love him. Now,
when was Rey Mysterio ever a heel?
I don't think he ever was. Okay, one time, and I think it was in like a SmackDown versus Raw setting of like a video game. It was one of the storylines you could play through. You could choose to be bad as Rey Mysterio. And it was, I felt weird playing it at the time.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a fantastic
That's the only time Rey Mysterio's been a heel.
So that match was pretty good. Let's go over. I want to get to the main because I want to talk about AEW just a little bit before we get off here. But
this might be a longer episode, folks. But
that's fine.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
So, all right, Liv Morgan, surprise win over Ronda.
Yep.
There's not much more I need to say about that. It was fine. It was kind of the most lackluster match of the night to me.
Fair.
And I feel it's crazy to think that, considering Ronda was involved. But, you know, I don't know what's going to happen with her. Maybe they could just turn her heel already and just have her lean into it and go with it.
Yeah.
And maybe she gets a mouthpiece. She needs somebody like a Heyman or somebody to kind of manage her. Yeah. Because she's terrible on the mic.
Beth Phoenix.
Maybe. All right. We already talked about
Sisters of Pain.
Theory and Lashley fought.
Yeah.
But it kind of felt like throwaway. It was almost like, and I felt bad for Lashley because I actually really liked his run in WWE so far.
Me too.
But it kind of just felt like we just want Theory to come out because we want you to remember that he's there.
Yeah. There was no build up for it really or anything.
No, it was overshadowed by whether or not he's going to cash in the Money in the Bank.
Right.
So I think that kind of hurt it a little bit. There was a cool spot where Seth Rollins was supposed to fight Riddle at SummerSlam, but apparently Riddle got like a stinger and they kind of canceled the match. But then there was like a brawl between the two of them at SummerSlam. That was kind of cool. Yeah. So again, like it's something a little unexpected, but it keeps their story going, even if they're not having the match there.
Yep.
So I like that. That was a nice touch. So let's get to the main event, shall we? Yeah. Lesnar and Reigns one last time. And it was, I don't know if you've seen some of the highlights on Twitter, man, but it was really wild. And in my view, maybe the best match they've had together.
Yep.
And then it ends on a great note. I'm not going to say, well, no, I wish they fight more. No, because we'll just get into a whole issue again where they're fighting for another 10 years and it's matches nobody cares about. This one was really good. And I think it was a good note to end on. It was really physical. It was a completely different match than the WrestleMania main event. It felt like people were a lot more involved in this one. Like the crowd was way more invested. And another thing, just as a bigger picture, the show itself wasn't that long. It felt a little better, like a little bit better paced. So the crowd didn't feel, maybe they were, but I didn't get the sense that they were super tired. But dude, so physical. He rides. So Brock Lesnar comes out with a tractor, like on a tractor, like a Brock Lesnar decaled tractor. And it's just kind of there. He pulls some sort of promo standing in the bucket.
I saw that.
And that was so cool. It was one of the coolest like mic drops too, because then it throws the mic down and like Reigns just kind of catches it nonchalantly. So it was like a real Joe Cool moment. But it was badass, dude. Like he at some point throughout the match, like Lesnar lifts the ring up with the tractor, and it was just so cool to see that. Like the ring was literally just like tilted up on its side, and Reigns just like tumbles down like he's like fucking Mario and Donkey Kong, you know? He's just like, you know, like just went down. But it was really cool, and ultimately the Usos come out, which we all knew was going to happen.
Yeah,
and Theory comes out too. I like how I'm kind of giving you play by play as I'm saying it to myself. I'm like, I'm kind of just giving this is what happened kind of deal, like Cliff Notes version.
That's fair.
And he gets an F5 for his troubles. So there was no, to everybody's excitement, there was no actual Theory cash in. He had tried to and never got to.
The bigger picture, Lesnar didn't win. That to me is a bigger shocker. Like that, it's like the anti-shocker, right? Like
right. And so now you wonder, where do they go from here? So we walk out of SummerSlam. Reigns is still the champion. There's a big, I think it's Clash at the Castle that's coming up. It's going to be their first show in England since SummerSlam '92. Yep. So I think it's Drew that has a title shot against Roman, and you kind of wonder they're going to go big here and have him win. So who knows? But then you question if The Rock is going to come back for WrestleMania next year, will that feud be a title feud, or is that going to be a straight up bloodline kind of feud? Who knows? Yeah,
I don't think it'll be a title feud, because I mean, I don't know.
No, Rock doesn't need the title.
I mean, no.
And we've kind of already seen that with him already.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But sounds like, it's a more exciting show than normal.
It was. And, I thought it was cool.
All right. So I'm excited to see how it goes. My interest is peaked here. So this is a positive step here that we're talking positively about a show here. Now, mind you, I haven't seen it. And usually I bring the negative attitude for these. Although I am fair. If it's good, I usually am pretty fair about it.
You're right.
So I'm excited. I'll have to go back and watch that, but that's good news. Now let's switch gears a little bit.
All right,
before we end here.
Want to talk AEW? Let's do it.
So I'm an AEW honky, as we all know, love them. But I got to tell you, we haven't had a lot of episodes and over the past couple months, and they've been a little bit lackluster. I mean, I would even say, as far as to go back to when we went to see them, that Dynamite wasn't fantastic. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't fantastic. And they go on these runs where they have some huge hits and things are great, and then they have duds, right? And I know they're not going to be perfect, but it seemed like at the beginning they were hitting on all cylinders, and now they're not. And my opinion on that is that Cody leaving, I think, was a big deal, more so than just his presence on the roster. I think he did a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, because Tony Khan, I mean, he knows wrestling, but how much does he know the in-depth details, right? Cody's kind of that. I would consider him like a Triple H. Like that's the best way.
He is very much like a Triple H. He's very cerebral.
and passionate, like
Mhm.
passionate about the industry, not just like getting people over, but like passionate about the details and
Mhm.
the history
Right.
and bringing that wrestling into it. So I think that's part of it. And I'll also touch on MJF. I know I'm a fan of MJF. I enjoy
I know
him.
you love him.
However, again, I heard this quote from his roommate, because they haven't heard anything about MJF, and we're still trying to figure out if it's a work or not. And I don't think it's a work. I think it's pretty much real at this point. And the roommate basically said, "Look, MJF was upset. You got all these WWE wrestlers coming in making 4 or 5 times the money he is, and the segments that he comes out and the dynamites that he's on
Mhm.
are the highest rated, and it's not even close."
Right.
And so I think there's a point there. However, this kind of brings our episode full circle, Mikey Cash,
Mhm.
because you got MJF who's walking out, biggest star in their company, and what are they doing?
I know. They're not doing
They're
anything. They
I haven't done anything.
they haven't done a damn
Is
thing.
is that the response you want for Sasha Banks? Like, or like, do
I
you
think
think they're handling this well? Is it, what would you do?
I
How do
see
you
what you're
feel?
trying to do, but I'm gonna stop you because I think both of them, despite how we're gonna feel about their decisions, I think there are pieces of this that should remain behind the curtain. I think we've gotten too accustomed to behind the scenes shit,
Yeah,
behind the scenes documentaries. We got to see how the sausage is made. Well, guess what? I don't think that needs to happen all the time.
no,
And so I don't know if they need to be. They don't need to be like singing MJF's praises, nor do they need to be shitting on him because
they
he's
haven't
not
done either.
right. They've been radio silent, which I find to be the preferred way to do it. They're dealing with whatever shit's going on. The reason we have a problem with it is because we just want to know.
Yeah, you're right.
That's what it is. We're just fucking nosy. So
Right.
that's the whole deal.
I'll say this. I agree with MJF's point. However, you signed a contract making money, and it could have gone the opposite way.
Mm-hmm.
And they're giving you the time to build on as a star. And if you're upset that they're signing all these other people, fine, be upset, but just finish out your contract. Do what you're supposed to do, and at that point, you can make a decision whether you're upset enough to leave and go to another organization, or you continue and try and get more money. But playing this game, if it's real, again, we don't even know that it's real.
Yeah.
But if this is real, it seems stupid. This guy fought forever to try and get in a main event and in the limelight here,
Yeah.
and he's finally got it. And you're just going to blow it all away because you're upset your contract is less than someone else's when you signed on to a company that at the time you didn't even know was going to make it,
Hmm. Well, why do
So,
you think he's upset? You've told me that. You've explained this to me. Why you think he's upset about where he's getting paid versus these WWE guys that came in?
right. But again, if I was him, I would shut my mouth, continue to build myself. And when you get to that point, if you have that much faith in yourself, you can make the money
Sure.
and sign a contract somewhere else. But again, this is all hearsay.
knows?
But I don't want to spend this time talking about MJF. My point is
No, I
those
get
two
it.
factors I think have affected the show. And the one thing they were doing well at the beginning that I feel like they're not doing now is storylines. Like they're kind of all over the map with some of them. They build on some feuds with some decent stars. But it's like I liked when they were bringing up people that we had never seen before. I love Bryan Danielson, love CM Punk,
Well, I
love all these
did
guys.
you watch Dynamite this week, right? I mean,
Uh,
Dynamite had a lot of good moments for their homegrown guys.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I think they seesaw a little bit. They go back and forth
they
because
do.
they got a really big roster and they don't have a lot of time.
Yeah,
So I think that's what happens. Sometimes people aren't going to be on the show one week, and
yeah,
then it gets revisited. But sometimes they have a really long layoff, and you kind of forget, well, what the hell's going
yeah,
on. So I think that can be. I agree with you. That can make it hard to get invested if you're starting to forget. And
yeah.
I'm not going to watch 3 hours of AEW Dark.
No, and I'll tell you the Jungle Boy thing Oh, what a
I did not
letdown!
like that.
What a letdown!
Like,
What
the
the
Luchasaurus
fuck?
thing was basically just a ruse in itself, so, like, they played the heel, but so it just made the heel already look, like, completely useless. So it makes
Yeah,
Christian look completely
yeah.
just not
And they were
credible.
going in a great direction. I
And
actually
then
really was digging
it was
the
cool.
Luchasaurus Kane vibe, you
I
know?
know. I know. And then screwed.
Yeah, but
So
you know
that
what?
was a dud. That was a dud.
Absolute dud. But
But
AEW, they were gaining steam,
mhm,
right? Like they were starting just on an upward trajectory. I don't think they've lost steam. I just think they've plateaued or flatlined a little bit. But
that's a good word.
they're not like I'm not upset with them or anything.
No.
I just like you want to pique my interest, you know?
One thing they are doing well right now, within the last few weeks, and is Ricky Starks.
Yeah.
Love that dude.
Yeah, you know, I agree there. I really liked him I really like him too. He's kind of grown on me a little bit.
He's got charisma. He's really good in the ring. He pulls a hell of a promo too.
Yeah.
So I dig it.
It'll be interesting to see how it pans out, but I don't want to spend too much time on that.
No.
I wanted to touch on it because we talk about AEW a lot here. So, but I think this is a great episode back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
And there is one thing I wanted to touch on that's on
Mhm.
tonight that before you have your final thoughts, or if there's anything we missed and you want to touch on.
Ring of
we can take a
Honor.
few
We'll talk
minutes.
about that.
Okay, all right. Talk about that first, because I'll talk about my piece after.
So last Saturday, I had the honor of going to Death Before Dishonor. It's Ring of Honor's first pay-per-view under the Tony Khan era. Speaking of eras, I thought it was great. It was. I had never really seen a lot of Ring of Honor, just clips here and there in like syndication from kind of the old regime. But this was a great show. I had no idea what to expect. They started the show off hot and had Claudio Castagnoli, aka Cesaro, winning the ROH title, and it was amazing, dude. It was amazing. I don't know if you saw the video I posted, but it was only up for a second because I got put into Facebook jail for some reason. But Fight TV was not happy that I posted a personal video of an event I attended. So
yeah, right. God forbid.
They blocked me. But yeah, it was a surreal environment. It's a smaller venue at that place we're at. I think it's called the Songus Arena.
Yep.
And it was a very intimate venue. People there were just really pumped to have Ring of Honor wrestling back. And I kind of see the hype for it. It's a different style of wrestling. At least some of them. Some of it kind of gets back to the flippy floppy, the stuff that, I'm not like hugely into, but there was a couple matches on there, such as
FTR and the Briscoe brothers.
I mean, that's the main event, man. And that was unbelievable, dude.
But how many times have you seen the Briscoe brothers wrestle? Like, honestly,
this is
before
the first
that
time I've seen them.
Oh, me too.
And it was so cool. I was like, where the hell have these guys been? And maybe I just haven't. I mean, yeah, I'm a big wrestling fan, but I've just been lazy and like not wanting to do enough YouTube research to kind of find those guys. I've seen them periodically. One of the episodes of Ring of Honor I ever caught had them on it, but they weren't wrestling. They were just kind of out cutting a promo or something. But it was really great to see them. I thought these guys, they have that charisma too. People are very drawn into their characters. They're well established. And as it was FTR, I think FTR really made a name for themselves since leaving WWE. And really made a case for themselves as one of the best tag teams in all of wrestling right now. They're holding multiple titles, and they're defending those titles, and they're having barn burners in every match. And
Mike, I want to point out before you continue, I want to point out that you personally have seen FTR in 3 different organizations.
Oh my God. I didn't even think about it.
You've seen them in NXT under the Revival when they fought
Gargano and Ciampa.
Yeah, which was unbelievable match.
Yep.
Then you saw that we saw them both that night, and we saw them in AEW, which was a great match
against the Young Bucks.
And now you've seen them in Ring of Honor against the Briscoes.
Am I kind of just like an FTR simp? Like, what's my deal? Like, I'm just
you are
following these dudes around.
Yeah, you know, they do love. They're also Bret Hart supporters, so we know
I knew
he's
I
a
liked
friend of
him
the
for a
show.
reason. That's what it was. I was really hoping Brett would come out on Saturday night, but he did not. He did
Yeah.
not. So there was actually a lot of people that I thought would be there, but weren't. I thought CM Punk might come out to do
Yeah.
commentary. He didn't do anything,
Yeah.
but it was really good overall. I almost want to buy it so I can watch it as it was meant to be presented.
Yeah, it was good. I watched it on TV.
Yeah, I
was
really
good.
enjoyed it. I enjoyed
was
it.
good.
I'm looking forward to sort of whatever TV deal they're going to do. My hope
Yeah.
is that they get on streaming with
Yeah.
probably HBO Max because they're on a Time Warner network. So I think that would be a good move, and it can also open the door for putting their library onto that streaming service. So we have
Yeah.
something. If you want to get, familiar with Ring of Honor and the superstars that came, you watch the network, watch their library on HBO Max. I think that'd be kind of cool.
The only thing I'll say from viewing it on TV is basically it felt like I was watching AEW with different wrestlers.
That's
like
true.
I'll be honest, like with different announcers, and the announcers weren't great. There was one guy, he was messing up left and right. The wrestling was awesome, but it just literally, they literally had AEW like medics and everything with their shirts that say AEW. They got to do something to get the feel a little different, change the setup, do something different so that it feels different on TV. That's all.
Okay.
That's my only thing I'll say that I would say I didn't like. It just felt like I was watching AEW.
Sure. And maybe that's something they'll address as they go forward. Sort of now that this pay-per-view is over and done with, what do we do now? How do we differentiate ourselves from AEW?
Yeah.
Because it was almost like a AEW sponsored event. It kind of felt
that's how I felt watching it.
It kind of felt very one night stand.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
You know, this is great. Now what? Now what are we gonna do? What kind of Ring of Honor TV is this gonna be?
Yeah.
Is this gonna be WWE CW? Or is this gonna be Ring of Honor going back to its roots and just having Tony Khan as the owner of it?
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, but I'm excited about it too.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But it was a great show. So highly recommend people checking it out.
Yep. I agree. I watched it. It was good. And it wasn't super long, which again, I like that. Like it was like just the right amount of time, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So to wrap it up, I do want to talk about one thing that's happening tonight. I saw bits and pieces of this. I don't know if you do. I follow Kurt Angle on the Instagram, which is a good follow. He's pretty funny, as you would expect.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got a documentary tonight on AEW, and it's his rivalry with Brock Lesnar.
Oh, you mean A&E?
What did I say?
AEW?
Yeah, I meant AEW. Yeah. I did. Thank you. Good
You're
catch.
such a fan.
If I didn't have one name slip up or something on an episode, then it's not a good episode. But no, it's on A&E, and I saw bits and pieces about like how Brock and Kurt, like Brock looked up to Kurt Angle, and they had a real wrestling match, and Angle won. Like, to me, that speaks absolute volumes. You know, Brock Lesnar is a beast, and that speaks volumes. So I'm really curious to see how it goes, because Kurt Angle is funny to me, because I love Kurt Angle.
Me too.
But like, unfortunately, because he left WWE, like his legacy isn't probably what it should have been. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's bad, because it's not.
Right.
They give him a lot of credit, but like he's not up there with the Hulk Hogan's and Shawn Michaels, and he's like a little bit below them. And I think he's just as good as them. I loved him. He had everything.
Listen, I'm with it.
But he also talks about his like addiction and overcoming it, and he talks about the mistakes he made, and it's good to see a guy like him. There's a lot of people that go down the other path and don't make it, and it seems like he is actually making strides, and he's coming out the other side, which I'm really happy to see.
No, me too. I'm I'm thrilled that people are getting to see this story about Kurt Angle, because there's not everyone's going to go on Peacock and watch the documentary that was filmed about him, which is probably going to have some crossover. But I think this is good mainstream attention for an athlete that was really second to none with Kurt Angle. I mean, that guy
Yeah.
was just a kind of an absolute anomaly in how fast he caught on to pro wrestling.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting, but yeah. Anything else you wanted to add? I mean, I think this is a great episode.
So. I think this was a really great, recalibration for us. It had been a little while. We had a bit of a layoff, but this was the perfect storm for us to get back together and throw this episode out there for everyone. And people should be on the lookout. We got more coming before the end of the summer for sure. We got plenty more. And any last words from you, Vito, before we sign off?
No, just make sure, as Mike says at the beginning of the podcast, if you like us, send us a tweet. Give us some suggestions, and definitely give us a 5-star rating on any of the podcast platforms that you listen to us on. We'd love to hear from you, and we appreciate the support.
Absolutely. We appreciate all the fans out there, the dozens and dozens of listeners that we have. We'll keep doing this for you. So be on the lookout for new episodes coming the rest of the summer. And until next time, keep on strutting.
We now return your perception of reality to you. Until next time.